919. Ms. Kenzie, Vice Chairperson, can you give us the invocation,
Sure.
please?
Tukut maroko pagat kita vetra manane munu chuma bupa puni gavach manok tasunu winrika na et na tawin to wipa because samai gavach ro tu samai gavach manok tas su vech bim jivachakte to wipa mugoya manoka mamut new kwe buwa bim jivacham tu pakan pajamamas ng tribal council runner ni Vanike at the suke ni Gavach, do wide of a jump, search of would go burn what, go a what would right, runner on what no white dumb right, would respond as I got to whip me on a bucket.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chairman. Vice Chairperson. Ms. Lopez, Secretary, can you do the roll call, please?
Connie Knight. Marilyn House. Here. Wayne Catsey.
Here,
Alston Turtle. Here. Catherine Jacket. Conrad Jacket.
Here.
Selwyn Weiss.
Here. I believe that two are absent and we have 5 present. It establishes a quorum for the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe under the Constitution bylaws of the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. We'll go to the approval of the agendas. Tribal council members, could you please review the agenda for today's tribal council meeting, and if there is any deletions or additions to the agenda, I would appreciate it to acknowledge that at this time. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, tribal council. Good morning, tribal employees.
morning.
Members. Chairman, for number 8, water with Peter Borgo. I did talk to him yesterday, and this will be a good discussion to have in the budget hearing. And he was good with that. I think it's what legal do, and it'd be good to have all of tribal council in to discuss this project and where it is going, especially with the project manager. So Chairman, we can take off number 8 with Sweetwater and Peter Borgo.
Okay, we did have that discussion yesterday with legal as well as Mr. Blue. And I think that further discussion needs to be discussed in the matter of what you just indicated with the project manager of the Sweetwater project. So I'll take that off and inform Mr. Blue that his present will not be here today for the 1 p.m. So we'll take that off and move it to the budget session per Lego's presentation. So I'll take number 8 off. Miss Green, we're taking number 8 off of executive session and moving that item discussion to the budget hearing at some date that is appropriate. So, and we'll discuss what we discussed yesterday regarding Mr. Blue's position as well. Okay. Vice Chairman, please.
I would like to add a discussion on the tribal trailers in the executive session.
The tribal trailers, in lieu of, would that be number 4. Would that coincide with number 4? But that number 4 is to insert the vote tally of that action on 2025-136. If this is a new discussion, that we're requesting
Yes.
a new discussion. So with that, with that inclusion, why don't we put it under number 8? So is it the 729 account discussion on the application, or what is the discussion?
It's regarding a 729 trailer,
Mm-hmm.
which is already occupied, and the jurisdiction of who actually has the say over the payments regarding that. Is it housing or is it tribal? Since
Okay.
it's a 729.
Okay. So the inclusion of the 729 trailer account will be at number 8 with the executive session. Under executive session, any other deletion, inclusion? Seeing and hearing none, we have in front of us, members of the tribal council, an agenda for Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Can I get a motion for the approval of today's agenda items for the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council? Yes?
I make the motion to accept the agenda per se with the deletion and addition of number 8, that 729 account discussion.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
Second, Vice Chairperson, thank you. I'll go to the vote. All those in favor with the agenda with the addition and the deletion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Those that oppose, abstain. Motion carries 5-4-0. Thank you, council members. Number 2, the approval of the council minutes of July 21st, 2026. Could you please review the documents? With the agenda for today's tribal council meeting, I'm going to go over what the agenda is going to consist today, August 4th, 2026. We had the call to order at 9:19 a.m. Myself, Selwyn Whiteskunk, Tribal Chairman of the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. We had the invocation by our Vice Chairperson, Miss Gwen Cansey. We had the roll call. We have 5 tribal council members, including chairman, present, 2 absent. We still establish a quorum under the Constitution bylaws of having the tribal council meeting. We have the approval of the agenda, motion by Treasurer Jacket, Conrad Jacket. We have a second by Vice Chairperson Gwen Cancy. The voting members, it was a 5-4-0 vote. We have before us the approval of the council minutes of July 21st, 2026. That action needs to be taken. Under old business, number 3, we have grants and contract, Miss Olivia Whiteskunk, grants coordinator, and Mr. Patrick Littlebear, grants and contracts administrator. And we have a subtitle under A, which will be the BIA contract application for FY 23 through 29, which is a 3-year contract. And I'm believing when we get to that point, we'll get further discussion as to why it's at a 3-year contract rather than a yearly. I believe that's what the 3-year span is. Is that correct? Okay. And that contract is the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Public Law 93-638 BRUNOT program. It's a 3-year term contract, and it's a proposal FY 2027 through FY 2029. It's an action item. Number 4, we have the Housing Division, Mr. Archie House Jr., Executive Director of the Ute Mountain Ute Housing Authority. He is bringing forth Subtitle A, amending Resolution number 2025-136, approval of application criteria for obtaining a tribal loan through the Tribal Revolving Maintenance 729 account to correct the certification count. That's an action item. Going to new business, number 5, we have the Justice Department, Terrence Apache, paralegal. Subtitle A is bringing forth the approval of resolution for funding proposal for the tribe's water rights in New Mexico and Utah. There's also a subtitle 1, approving the Bureau of Indian Affairs 2027 request for attorney fees and litigation support fund under CFR Part 89 for New Mexico water right litigation in the San Juan General Stream adjudication. Number 2 is approving the Bureau of Indian Affairs fiscal year 2027 annual funding request for the water rights litigation negotiation program in New Mexico. Number 3 is approving the Bureau of Indian Affairs 2027 funding request for attorney fees and litigation support funds under 25 CFR Part 89 to pursue federally reserved water rights in the state of Utah water adjudication 0902. Number 4 is the approval of the Bureau of Indian Affairs fiscal year 2027 annual funding request for the water rights litigation negotiation program for the state of Utah. Number 6 will be the BIA updates, and subtitle number 6 under BIA soon after the updates will be the tribal council reports. We'll go to an adjournment and enter the executive session. Number 7 under executive session is the Planning Department, Bernadette Cuthair, Director, and this is the approval of the Memorandum of Agreement with the Indian Health Service Project AL 26-97 Ute Mountain removal of total tribal methanes. It is the TTHM drinking water pipe Cortez to Toyac. Number 8, as we deleted the Sweetwater project, we have inserted the 729 trailer account discussion. That will be sponsored by Miss Vice Chairman Gwen Cancy. Number 9, Erica Costa, Berkeley Williams LLP. Subtitle A, Under executive session will be the New Mexico Settlement Negotiation request for funding from the New Mexico State Engineer for Well Development. Number 10, is enrollment. The enrollment committee will come before the tribal council for 3 enrollments of future potential Ute Mountain Ute tribal members. Number 11 will be committee appointments. We have 2. Subtitle A, we have a Terrell Commission applicant, letter of interest. And B, we have a Housing Advisory Board, letter of interest, 1 individual. And thereafter will be the adjournment of the executive session. So that is the layout of today's agenda for the Ute Mountain Ute Tuesday, August 4th, 2026 Tribal Council meeting. Members of the Tribe Council. Number 2, approval of the council minutes at July 21st, 2026.
Chairman,
Yes, Treasurer?
if there's more changes, make the
Okay, we have a motion. Treasurer Jacket.
Second.
We have a second. Vice Chairperson Clancy. Thank you. I'll go to the vote. All those in favor with the approval of the council minutes on July 21st, 2026, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, we have a 6-5-0 vote. Motion approved. There's no abstention and no vote. So motion passed 6-5-0. Thank you. Okay, we are going to the old business number 3, grants and contract. Miss Olivia Whiteskunk and Mr. Patrick Littlebear, please.
Morning, Chairman, Committee Council. They were presenting the 3-year contract for the Greenhouse program.
Okay,
They presented the resolution whereas the Miami Tribal Council wishes to continue HPL 93-638 contract with the Bureau of Indian Affairs for the Brunette program fiscal years 2027 to fiscal years 2029. Whereas the contract proposal for the Brunette program creates a new contract number and the amount of contract are including in the budget and budget area with no matching required. Now therefore, be it resolved that the UMI Tribal Council hereby supports the PL 9338 for the Brunette program to cover fiscal year 2027 through fiscal year 2029. And be it finally resolved that the UMI Tribal Council authorizes the chairman to sign this resolution and further authorize the company to pass such action principally may be necessary to carry out.
okay, members of Tribal Council, before you, you have one of the BIA 93-638 contracts, the Brunette Hunting Agreement contract. It is funded by the Tribal Water Rights Department through the Department of Interior. In our discussion at some point with 638 officials, it was recommended that the tribe would have this contract in a 3-year increment rather than having it at a 1-year increment at the suggestion of the 638 contractors for the Bureau of Indian Affairs. So that's why you see the 2027 to the 2029 year FY is indicated. So every year, it's not a reoccurrence of approving these contracts. So that is why there's a 3-year gap in it, or a 3-year commitment to this contract as well. They will still bring forth their scope of work during the FY budget year to the tribe and will be submitted, but the overall contract will be at a 3-year time span, and that's what we wanted to happen with the IHS contracts as well, but we went ahead and did it on a yearly basis just for IHS at this time. And maybe next year, or we could change that scope of work or the annual funding agreement with IHS, and that would be further discussion with the budget committee as well. But the budget has already gone through the budget hearing in the last 2 weeks, correct? Is correct, Mr. Little Bear? So before us, we have the contract for the Brunot program. What are the wishes of the tribal council? Discussion?
I'd like a little bit of insight from Mr. Hodge on how his program is doing and the accomplishments that you have accomplished this year, fiscal year, and your staffing.
So we are short staffed still. So as a person, we can't get no one to apply for the 1550 for the range position. For the most part, staff is better. We've got a lot of things accomplished. I've got a better working relationship with Colorado Parks and Wildlife. It's getting a lot better. They've been up. We also managed to get with Sheriff Ferrari out of New Mexico. He's wanting to get an MOU with the tribe for this project to offer his ability to assist the tribe. I did turn that into legal. I believe she's reviewing it. We've got more Pinecrest officers this year. That was one of my goals, was to get a few more for us. We're in the community right now. Last night he was stuck in housing, taking him out of housing, so we found him. This is really short, like for the wages are so much lower than what the surrounding areas is paying. Like paying $28 for an officer, or paying 21 starting out with your state degree. I'm working on trying to figure out ways to increase the funds for our, any way we can, you know. There's some ways of funding. But I'm trying to mention it. Yep. We have extra Pinecrest vouchers, trespass fees and to the state, and it's still under state law. Of our which is yeah. They want to make sure you can. They understand they won't accept it. We want to make it for his safety. My next goal is to get better controls, better, get this issue we're having going on down in New Mexico. Try to get that taken care of. Get our department where we're actually, the VI recognizes this. My goal is to get my SLEC card. If the tribal council will allow me to get that, or ask for that if it happened for me. VI doesn't want to give it without your guys' blessing. Even across the state with the VI temporary to help, we can deal with the non-natives trespass. Or we go the state route, which get cross-advertised with the surrounding area like Utah, San Juan County, where I got a good already working agreement with Sheriff Collins, who allows me to write tickets to non-natives for trespassing and other things. He does his, we have an MOU with him already, so, but I don't know what's gonna happen when the new sheriff gets in. I don't know much about Tyson besides he was my instructor when I went to the academy. But that's my goal, is to get the best agreement, manage our resources to the best of my ability. My goal is this, my goal for the end of the year is get the drinkers that we got, that environmental has. I want to get those set up and get the guzzlers going before the end of the year.
Thank you. It is my understanding that there is a lot of trespass issues in Ellen Canyon on the allotted lands. So, we need to get that taken care of and get it addressed. Okay.
We noticed that we lost a lot of coming at night or after we leave. Everybody knows our schedule 8 to 4:30. So I'm trying to switch those up different days, but we might do up noon to dark, 10:30 at night. Or, early in the morning, and then we come home off. I got to switch my schedule.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get that approved to start.
All right. Well, thank you. Maybe when you're in the area, just contact someone, let them know that you're there. Don't need to be a public announcement, just call the administration or something, and just let them know that you're in the area. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other comments? Treasurer Jacket?
Yes, Chairman, thank you. So in the budget hearing, one thing I was stressed out was Colorado's going from $15 an hour to $16 an hour. So that's made it harder for Bill and some of our other departments, like 638, for them to hang on to the job that we got, especially our city charge drivers. It's something that we need to think about. Barely $14.50 or barely at $15 an hour too, so this is going to be a stress on us and our federal employees. So I feel that he's already stressed and qualified to take on this job for that. So it's something we need to bring up at the budget. This stress is going to be on us. So, Council, those are my comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Treasurer Jacket. Any other comments? Seeing and hearing any? In reviewing the documents that you are proposing to send to the regional office, who wrote the scope of work for you? So
They told me to use.
the HR had developed this scope of work, and have you reviewed it I'm just saying because as I reviewed it,
There's some things
there's some things that I wouldn't send to the regional office that is very contradictory to the entire program itself. I understand, and as you read the document and the goals and objectives as to what you're submitting to them, can we refine it? I think we can send the Mr. Little Bear can give us guidance as to what can we send to them per the resolution, it has to have the scope of work attached to it, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the contract proposal does require the scope of work, the budget, budgetary, job descriptions, and the indirect cost rate, along with the contract. It's kind of along with the BIAs. All those components are required of the actual contract proposal. It's in BIA.
Is that, is part of the requirement on there? What is the given time frame to,
This is actually due to BIA June 30th. So we're past the time, but historically BIA hasn't given the funds, right, to start a fiscal year, the next fiscal year.
yeah, 'cause, you know, when you look at that, when you read the contract, the scope of work as to what we're sending them, what the requirements, what's the obligation, you read that and it contradicts what the tribe, how their structure is structured. It puts a committee before his position, before him, when it should be the executive director who supervises the director. But it has the commission supervising the director. And everything that is in the document has the commission. That's from PO, invoices, just about everything that he has a responsibility to provide. His department has the committee to approve it, rather than the executive director, CFO, or the finance purchase department, that the process, the protocol that it goes with when you read the document. That isn't how we operate, you know, so we're behind, way behind, 2 months for the submission. I'm pointing that out because I'm looking at it and I understand that the 638 components, knowing that we could make some modifications to it, but that's at a, and the funding. When you look at the budget, the line item of the budget itself, there's really no allocated funds for his vehicle, for his mileage, for his cell phone. There is just a $0 amount for the essential operation of this department. How can that be? Because it went all to salaries and fringe benefits. That's where it's at. And this department has nothing to operate, nothing to get equipment. It has a whole lot to on other stuff that is essential for his daily operation. And we're so far, we're behind. I'm not going to say so far, but we're behind on this request, and the only way we can request any additional dollars is probably through the Treaty Rights Department or through the Department of Interior Treaty Right Office to re-examine or reevaluate the allocated funds that are given to this department. And there's no tribal matching funds to it.
There is a small amount of tribal funds. Manager and there is a chart set budget, budgeted at $192,000. That still covers his operations. His line items are for his vehicle, for cell phone. Also has a couple positions in there on the chart side. One of the admin assistant, that position he has over there. And also for the that's not included in the packet. All that's in the packet is the BIA 638. Funded at a little over 100,000 per year, and it only covers salaries and positions.
So the question, Mr. CFO and Mr. Grants and Contracts, the impact with the deduction of an overall tribal decrease, it impacts that tribal portion of it. And how do we get it to function the way we want it to function? Because in the forefront of this document, as you read the document, is it has an extraordinary responsibility in the Brunot area, the tribal area, the White Mesa area, and it also flows over to the wild horse issues, the feral animals and trespassing and all of this that is put into this document. I'm not, I understand it. I know where it's going, but I'm just saying there is a lack of funding for this department and the requirements to bring on individuals. This is one tough department that needs to be filled, but we don't have the qualified individuals to undertake it because of the requirements that is put forth in this. And you know that 638 is developed by the tribe for the use, how the tribe wants to use it. But I think and I believe and I know that we've just been boilerplating this department every year with the scope of work that is just, and no one's checking it. No one's reviewing it. No one's saying this isn't right. We'll just do a pass through. And it's sufficient for us as a tribe because there's no checks and balances. It just, you do what you do. This is treaty right monies. You do what you do, but you have a treaty right with the Brunot area. You have a consent decree with the state of Colorado. You have the tribal lands that has to be patrolled and taken care of from looters, archaeological looters, from trespassing to taking of feral animals at wee hours of the night. And you're just one individual with your secretary and with your day labor administrative force. That's it. And we expect you to go and be everything at once and everywhere. And you get in trouble for it. You get in trouble for not complying or not doing what is told of you to do. And we don't understand that.
If I may speak, my frustration is that every time I try to do something to protect the tribe, I get told, you can't do that, you're not BI, you can't do this, you can't do this. But where's my BI? I called for a BI assistance 2 months ago. What's the deal? What's going on? I said, I have a possible DUI. I don't have the equipment. I'm state certified to do the field sobriety test, but I don't have a breathalyzer machine. I need your assistance. Also, we don't have an officer available. We don't have anyone to go down. We don't have anyone to go down to the agriculture. How do we get there? I get calls from BI all the time. Hey, Philip, we don't know where we're at. We're lost. We haven't lost anyone out here. We need you to come in right now and take our officers to this area. Our IP officer didn't know where to go for that incident was supposedly that a person had passed away, a child member had passed away. Supposedly the person passed away getting surrounded by people, and, oh, you can't run code over there because he's already gone. To me, that's disrespectful, because what happened if the guy was still alive? I've already had this incident happen a couple years ago, I won't bring up the main details about it, everybody knows what happened. I called that search off because I saw the people get in the van. That lady died on my watch. But I was not told right area where she was at. I was lied to by multiple people. Well, she's up in the travel parks. I get to travel parks, there's not a soul around me. Also make a call from Cortez Dispatch. Hey, Philip, we have a person lost in the San Juan River. They say they're on the right, on the left-hand side of the road. Can you go down there? I see people, young couple, they don't tell me who they are, they don't tell me their old, who they are. The person in charge of that department knew where they went. They paid extra to go there. She could have been honest and said, hey, Philip, I got people that went down to see the old trading post. No one told me that. I saw the people in the van, we talked, we went, we said, hey, they must be fine, they got off the river, they went to the van, they took off. I ran back, I get a call again from Cortez Dispatch. Hey, people, those people are still missing. Can't find them. I go, I think they gotta be on the right-hand side, not plus he must be turned around. I found our travel member almost to the point of death from dehydration. We got him out. His son went in, found the people, but that was the lady that already passed. So that's my frustration. My frustration, I'm never allowed to do my job to the best of my ability. I'm always like, you can't do this, you're not PI, you're not this. Like, I stopped the person for DUI, they were intoxicated, so intoxicated that they almost took me out head on. I called for PI, she got mad, why'd you take my vehicle? Because I said, because he kept trying to drive off. I said, I'm a law enforcement officer, just the same as you. I do wildlife more. I don't want to, you guys don't do, just let him go. My frustration, why is this happening to me? Why am I not allowed to do my job? Why is it someone always saying, get back, you can't do this, you can't do this? Why is a non-certified, I understand that I have a division director, he's my boss, I totally respect that. But if that person doesn't know law enforcement, why is he my division director? Because if he doesn't know the law, like he should, he's going to get me in trouble. Because by law, I'm required to act upon the commission of a crime. I don't have no say in the matter. So I carry my vest, I carry my gun, my personal gun off duty. Because I'm required to follow state law to act with a certified person. And if I do not act, I will my things.
Okay.
People don't understand, it's my frustration. I love my job. I'm not saying that. My frustration is not being able to do my job. I understand, but everybody's money's tight. But I'd like to see, hopefully, the PI will give us an increase of funds since we had increased the number of 30. I had one mistake with one of my vehicles. We're out.
Okay. Just one last question. In this is the BIA 638 contract. And then we supplement with a tribal side amount of dollars. Is that tribal side dollars fully utilized, which probably isn't because you don't have a ranger or a Brunot ranger. You're looking for three. You have yourself and you have a tribal ranger and then you have a Brunot officer. You don't have a tribal ranger and you don't have a Brunot officer, you don't have them because you're the only individual. You can't say that you do have it when you don't have it. So what I'm saying in looking at this budget is that, is there a way that we could reallocate these funds that you have labeled down here as salary professionals in your line item 5020 to take that 28,548 and shuffle it over to your supplies, your travel, your equipment purchases. I'm just saying, I mean, I would kind of be creative in trying to address your unassociated costs, so you don't have costs to take it on, but maybe
Burnout officer. We could probably take the tribal ranger meeting somewhere else for every week on a ranger.
can you use that allocated, Mr. Scott? could he use that tribal allocated dollars to hire a tribal ranger, since he's a tribal ranger, and put him in to the budget of the tribal side?
Yeah, that position is available in the tribal side. It's still available and vacant. There is a position in there for a tribal ranger in the tribal side.
And for the many years that he hasn't had a ranger, is that, Mr. Little Bear, a carryover amount of dollars that he hasn't utilized? My, my thoughts are, this isn't ready to be submitted. There's a lot of work that needs to happen. But that's my thought, but the tribal council can make the decision whether to move it forward as is and at some point utilize the modification to change the scope of work because this is needed to go forward. So I'm not going to stop it from going forward unless that's the wishes of the council. I'm not going to stop it because it needs to get done, and I would really encourage the department to work with grants to make the modification to fit the need and resubmit that modification with clarity that this is how we're going to utilize it as well. Is that okay in doing? I mean, I know where I'm going with it. I just want to know if that's what my recommendation would be, that, but I don't have that authority to do that. But it needs to be submitted as is, in my opinion, to get it on the books to say that we have a contract, and then upon that completion of approving it, go back and use the modification criteria. What we can do under 638, we can modify the whole scope of work and then resubmit a cleaner version of a budget that is acceptable, because we're given that ability to have modification the way we see fit.
We could submit it as is, as you're saying. Go back and do a complete scope of work change and budget modification within the same year when it's finalized, or when we submit annual proposals, if that's the time that you guys look at too. Perfect within that. Again, it's up to you all.
Yes. Yeah, and that's where I'm at with it as I see it. As I'm looking at this document, it's, in my opinion, it needs to be submitted as is, and we need to go back and modify it and request for the modification, or submit a new modification to this grant for a complete funding of the program. So, members of the council, any questions, concerns to the discussions? If not, we have before us a 638 contract that is needed, that should have been submitted back in June. It's August, so we either can carry it another 2 weeks, another month, and I don't know how that would look at the funding area office getting the contractor for BIA. So what are the wishes of the tribal council?
I have a comment.
Secretary?
Thank you, Grants and Contracts, for coming. I believe that, it wouldn't have moved this far along if, it wasn't ready to be submitted. I just want to let the council know, I think moving this forward and then revisiting this, in a little bit to move the numbers around and everything would be sufficient with me. Not only that, but I think this is why we stress the budget meetings are so important for everybody to attend, so questions can be answered, or if something is flagged, then we can, spend some time on that discussing it. But I just want to stress that the budget meetings are so important to attend. That's why we work things out in this situation. But I would make a motion to move ahead with the Bureau of Indian Affairs BRUNOT program 3-year term contract proposal for fiscal year 2027 to 2029.
Okay, I have a motion from the secretary. I have a second from Councilwoman Jacket. Any comments? Councilman Turtle?
Good morning, thank you for that. First and foremost, thank you, Grant and Contract, Gil, and Ashley coming in and really accounting what it is to the shortfall of this grant and what we need to do. I just want to reiterate Secretary House's comment, the importance and prioritization of these budget meetings. I mean, we're all council members who got to be at these budget meetings, and we have to look at our priorities. So I think a lot of this frustration and confusion can really be sought out there, and we won't be having to waste all these questions and time on council meetings, and we've got more business to do. So I just encourage the members of council to be at these budget meetings because it's important. It gives you a viewpoint, especially if you're a new council member, on the shortfalls that you don't understand or know. So I just want to put that out there because it's important that we have everybody there. We're going to be continuing with the budget. There's a lot that we have to talk about the tribal side. We're seeing that shortfall. We're seeing where the contract, the DIA or the federal entities out there, how they become challenging. How there's such a shortfall. So really looking at that, we have a lot of work that we need to do with the department, especially the tribal side, because there's more flexibility on the grant side. So I'm really fortunate that we have an executive director in here now who's going to carry out a lot of these directives because these departments need to start picking up. There's a lot of shortfall, and it doesn't hurt us as the private government, it hurts the members that we're providing these services to. That gentleman right there, he needs to back up on what he's doing. And you know what? I'm really proud on DIA. DIA is really topping the ball down there, police force. You've got an obligation to the tribe. So I mean, get that resistance, and we're getting a lot of that resistance here for BIA, and it's really upsetting me because now a lot of the regulatory is taken off by the wayside from people who have that responsibility to this tribe. So I think we've got a lot of work to do. I'm just forward to see how this next year will really pan out, how we all work together. There's a little bit of division on here. So, I mean, we're all here, we're putting here for a reason from our tribal membership. We're all voted in the same aspect. But we've got to really do these responsibilities together because it doesn't pan out and just a couple of us are there. So I understand the responsibilities of other things that are out there for our reservation. So we've got to get in shape. Not working out right now. Our programs are really hurting. You know, I understand the frustration about the regulatory there because, I mean, he's got those credentials in the back of in his background. How do we formulate something to be beneficial for him and his regulatory? Because you know what? We don't enforce the law there, people are going to be running amok, and we've seen it here in the past week or two. So, you got to be visionary. So that's what I want to say, Mr. Chairman. I mean, we've got the ability to turn a lot of these programs around. We just have to look at it in the same vision. None of this power and being on council together. So that's what I say that respectfully. That I don't think I'm a council member here, but I just need you. We need to work together. Thank you.
Thank you. So before we have a motion, we have a second. I'm going to the vote. All those in favor of moving this 638 contract forward for the Brunot Department, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstaining? Motion carries 650. Thank you.
Jack,
Yes.
if I can, remember, it was Luna and Eastworks who we had to use some of the resource funds to make it for this fiscal year. Am I correct?
Yeah, no, it was the whole division for the natural resource division, site budgets. We had to use resource funds to cover their operations for this fiscal year.
Yeah, so just giving public council a heads up, as I believe it was Councilman Turtle at that time, former Councilman Whiteman and myself, we were in a budget hearing. And we have that resource settlement fund, but it's dwindling down. And as we're paying that for contractors for water. Also, we have some enterprises who want to buy some water here too, so that fund is there, but it's dwindling down. We need to come up, but like I said, we're gonna have a shortfall, and more than likely, we're gonna have to do the same.
At
I'd like to
some
make a
point in
comment.
time, I would really recommend the department as well as the executive director work with, particularly with the grants and contracts to see where changes and modifications can occur with this 638 contract. And at some point in time, shift it over to the tribal side of funding. Who on our tribal side, Mr. Scott, is our tribal person?
I have one comment. Mr. Hodge, could you please work with grants and contracts with Patrick and Ron? I know your frustration. I have to say, from the position that I was in before to here, grants and contracts was never communicating well with me. I would ask for my carryover so I could allocate it for funding, and I would never get a reply. So I know your frustration, and Mr. Little Bear, I would appreciate it if you would do what you need to do to help Mr. Hodge update his budget so we can get it turned in a good manner to where if it needs revisions, it does. Usually a mission statement is 2 to 3 sentences. That's almost a whole page for your mission statement. So what I just wanted to say was I don't know the legalities of you putting all the reference Brunot agreement and all that in your mission statement, but, you know, if you could kind of, put it down and just specify specifically what you're doing, what your department is responsible for. And, you know, I don't, you said you got that from HR? Okay, well.
I'll fix it. I'll get it fixed.
Yeah, maybe you can get it tweaked. Use a lot of what you have, your experience, what you feel in your heart that you have to accomplish and that the services that you're going to provide is going to be meaningful to the tribe. Put that in there. Put it, you know, not all the, like I said, the legality stuff. Yeah, that might be required because you're law enforcement. side. So, but, you know, do that, good luck, and yeah, it'll go forward.
We are revising, we're let me do my mission statement and everything, so we try to get that done before the end of,
Okay,
in a couple weeks here.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, appreciate it.
Mhm.
in the San Juan River General Stream adjudication. Seeing and hearing none, Ms. Green, do you have any comments?
No, well, just briefly that, as Mr. Apache indicated, the BIA has been giving us this funding for several years, so it should continue moving forward. As we know, the New Mexico litigation is, again, continuing on. And then as Mr. Chair, going to the next resolution, Utah, as he indicated, we're just starting negotiations there. So the funding, from the BI definitely is to try, water negotiations forward. And if I could, Chairman, I would just like to thank Mr. Apache. He has been handling most of these grants with the BIA. He's been working with them. I'm depending on him greatly, and so his knowledge and has been a great asset to the legal department.
Well, thank you for that synopsis of Mr. Patchy's work. He's taken on a lot of other responsibilities that are natural resource oriented for the Department of Justice, and he's done an eloquent, superb job for us, and I appreciate his work and our discussions that put us in a position that can make the tribe more effective in what we're doing in the natural resource arena. So, members of council, we have us again before us the request for this resolution. The funding is always a continuous funding. It's an attachment that will go with the award of the amount indicated of $180,000. What are the wishes of the tribal council? And can I get a motion, second, and a vote? Any questions, concerns, discussions?
Motion.
Chairman,
Treasure Jacket?
thank you, Chairman. If there's no more questions, Chairman.
Treasure Jacket makes the motion. Second? Aye.
Okay.
Second, Vice Chairperson Cancy. I'll go to any discussions. If not, I'll go to the vote. All those in favor of the resolution for the request of attorney fees and litigation support funds under 25 CFR Part 89 for the New Mexico water rights litigation in the San Juan River General Stream adjudication, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstain? Thank you, council. We got a 6-5-0. Thank you, Mr. Apache. The second one.
Okay. And the second one's more for like the assistance with the hydrologist and identifying the water source and making sure that whereas participating in the San Juan General Stream in New Mexico, there's a need of financial resources to secure the services of water engineers, non-legal consultants, and economic advisors. Whereas the Bureau of Indian Affairs has announced that the funding is available that could assist the tribe in securing the funding for the services needed to the tribe have prepared their tax application for these funds. Whereas the tribe is requesting $275,000 in funds to secure the services of engineering and economists and other necessary advisors, and there is no match required for these funds. And whereas the action needed, the action taken by the resolution is in the best interest of the tribe. Now, therefore, be resolved that the tribal council hereby approves the attached Bureau of Indian Affairs fiscal year 2027 annual funding report for water rights litigation and negotiation in New Mexico as part of the San Juan River General Stream adjudication. And finally, be resolved that the Mountain View Tribal Council authorizes the chairman to sign the resolution and further authorize him to take such action as may be necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution.
Okay, before us, members of the council, is a request in reference to the BIA FY27 annual funding request for water right litigation and negotiation program in the state of New Mexico. What are the wishes of the tribal council?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Vice Chairperson Clancy. Second.
Chairman, a second.
Treasurer Jacket, seconds. I'll go to the vote. Discussion, go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstain? Motion carries 650. Thank you, Mr. Apache. Next one.
We got the Utah, and again, it's just starting out, and this is gonna be in regards to the attorney. And we're trying to work with getting the allotments together, because we have like a checkerboard allotment up there by one Utah. Those would help with that, work going forward. And so we're at the tribe of pursuing water rights in Utah for the White Mesa community as part of the state adjudication 9-2, and the tribe needs additional funding to acquire the services of a water engineer and economist and advisors. Whereas the Bureau of Indian Affairs has announced that funding is available and so it assist the tribe in securing the funding for the services needed, and the tribe has prepared the attached application for these funds. Whereas the tribe is requesting $100,000 in attorney fee and $30,000 in litigation support funds to secure to the paralegal, administrative assistants, engineers, economists, historians, and other necessary advisors to original master tribe. Whereas the action taken by this resolution is in the best interest of the tribe. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the tribal council hereby approves the tax year 2027 person fees and litigation support fund under 25 CFR Part 89 and pursue federally reserved water rights in Utah State Water Education 9-2, and be it finally resolved that the New Mountain View Tribal Council authorizes the chairman to sign this resolution and further authorizes him to take such action as necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution.
Okay, tribal council, before us, we have another BIA FY27 funding request for attorney fees, litigation support fund under 25 CFR Part 89 to pursue federally reserved water rights in the state of Utah, adjudication 0902. What are the wishes of the tribal council to move forward on this said resolution that is addressing the state of Utah water adjudication?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Vice Chairperson Clancy. Treasurer Jacket.
Yes, before I second, there being John here, that they, the motion, he's Edward. I'd like to say that out there. He said he's out there. Maybe he can't get there, maybe he's right there to take it out and keeping us all on. So I'd say thank you. With that being said, I'm sure it sounds like me, but like a second.
Thank you, Treasurer Jacket. I will go to the discussion. If there isn't any discussion, I'll go to the vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
I
Those opposed? Those abstain? Motion carries 650. Thank you, Mr. Apache.
More for the state of Utah. Whereas the tribe is pursuing water rights in the Utah, in the state of Utah for the White Mesa community as part of the state education 09-2, the tribe needs additional funding to acquire services for the water engineer and economist and others. Whereas the Bureau of Indian Affairs has announced that the funding is available that could assist the tribe in securing the funding for the services needed, and the tribe has prepared the attached application based on. Whereas the tribe is requesting $370,000 in funds to secure the services of the engineer and economist and other necessary advisors, there is no match required for these funds. And whereas the action taken in this resolution is in the best interest of the tribe. Now therefore be it resolved that the tribal council hereby authorizes the attached Bureau of Indian Affairs fiscal year 2027 annual funding request for the water rights litigation and negotiation in Utah as part of state adjudication 09-2. And be it finally resolved that the Mountain Ute Tribal Council authorizes the chairman to sign this resolution and further authorize the same to take such action as necessary to carry out the intent of the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Apache. Members of council, before us, we have the approving of the BIA FY27 annual funding request for the water right litigation negotiation program in the state of Utah. And it is in the amount of $370,000. What are the wishes of the tribal council?
I motion to approve the contract.
Motion, Ms. Kansi, Vice Chairperson Kansi.
He's asleep.
Second, Councilwoman Catherine Jackett. Discussion? Seeing, hearing none, I will go to the vote. All those in favor of this resolution in the amount of $370,000 for funding for the water right litigation negotiation program in the state of Utah, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Those abstain, motion carries 650. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Apache. One last thing, in the work that you've done, will there be at a time, maybe in our executive staff meeting, you could give us a synopsis of what and where are we at with these negotiations, including the New Mexico and the Utah, and as well, where are we? I see in the previous council session, there was conversation about the Bears Ears and its reduction. We also seen the Grand Staircase, Escalante Grand Staircase monument reduction as well. And I believe Vice Chairman will elaborate at some degree as to what the position is going to be. I see that there is a letter of support to NARF as well, and then there's conversation with Executive Director John Echohawk as how he wants to proceed on behalf of the tribe or the tribes that are proposing litigation on the administration for what has occurred to these two monuments as well. So we just would want a update as to what's taking place in the next movement that tribes, the state, the federal government is looking at. So that'll be at a date. Vice Chairperson.
I got one last comment. We made some good connections at the Utah Native American Summit. So Mr. Echohawk asked for an update from Peter and legal on the Utah negotiations. We have his full support in whatever we're doing. So he's going to reach out, make contacts. So let's get this ball rolling.
I'll make a note of that and I'll get that updated for you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 6, BIA updates. Man, you're cooking this. You're making it happen. Morning.
Welcome back, Mr. Wagner. Morning, Council. Morning.
Good morning.
You too. My report is going to be real short. I was late because I was doing an EPA audit with our vehicles that came and they had some minor findings. The only major one was our propane tanks, which belong to OJS. They wanted to see a plan. Yes, to get that completed. Just a friendly reminder that I did remind the new U.S. Wildland Force fighters. They do need to, they're talking about October 1, they will, fully functional, I won't have to pay for their utilities, their propane, but I did gently remind them, you don't get to piggyback off my lease, you have to come negotiate your own lease. Keep pushing that and reminding them because I think they think because they're not a they can just take over the building and lease it to the bar. I reminded them that if there's a payment, you have every right to enforce it. The Helitech building, I don't have an update. I have no update from Southwest Regional Office, but I did remind them to include Ms. Cutter as well as they respond to me. In January of 2027, there's a college out of Denver, and I can't remember if it's Denver State or I've seen the little pamphlet, I didn't get a copy, but they're going to come and help with the rules in January. So we'll get it says they're coming here, I don't know where, but it says Toyox, so I don't know if they're coming to the agency and they expect us to create room for them, which we will do, but they haven't given us a location other than they're going to come to the reservation. A meeting was held on July 23rd, and it included our federal partners, IESC, BEMD, IESC Energy, and they worked with your energy director and legal meeting with their and help them develop a four corners agreement, let them know that they can also source energy partners to help Mr. Blue so that he can apply they can help him. 638 contracts, you already know, we're waiting on budgets. And they're going through your process. And then Southwest Region is working with Lorraine McGee. She's gone today, but she did give me an update that they are working with them. I will say that on the meeting, Mr. Galvin was very stern about if we don't get the tribes their money, it's going to be taken out of our budget. They do that. We're all going to be on purple. Because I believe we owe you about $1 million. Before I left, I had done, I think it was 32 or 36 PRs, and only half of those got funded. So I know we will be able to over $1 million. But hopefully, she is getting on that. And let's see. The assessment is complete for the Chief Ignacio Justice Center. They're writing it now. They did send me a draft, and I'm going to send back my comments are due to them by the middle of September. They're going to have that report to us by October 3rd. The major things, of course, is the HVAC, which you guys are already aware, we have a chiller there, and getting it ADA compliant as we make renovations to the building because it is old. The major findings was the camera system and fire, and the brief synopsis I did before I got here. But once that is finalized and I can share it with you, I'll give you guys a copy once it's finalized, gone through all whatever they need to get it. But that's it for my report. Do you all have anything for me?
I got a question.
Vice Chairperson.
Can we get a report on the fire? Is it out?
I'm not responsible for but I can tell you, because I do ask for updates. They told me that they were going to start having 7:30 meetings down left there. So.
The Sand Creek Trailhead parking lot is briefing at 7:30 every morning. At this current time, there are 45 personnel on the fire. The past couple days, they've had real strong presence with aerial attacks. 2 helicopters, a single airplane retardant, jumbo air retardant air tanker that has hit the whole perimeter with retardant. And yesterday they were shuttling in a 45-man crew to take on the north side where it has probably a 75, 85 vegetation. The other east, south, west areas are very sparse in vegetation, so their focus is on the north side of the fire to get a complete line in that area and then circle it. Yesterday we had red flag warnings, 30 to 40 mile an hour winds after 12 p.m. The update for today is erratic winds that will also be present, but the crew is coyoting it, spike camping for the last day. They may be pulled off today, but that just is going on the fire behavior at this time. And we have an incident command unit that is a part of the Ferris fire and the Cross Canyon fire that's just north of Hoganweek. And resources are being from the Rio Blanco fire in Pagosa. That's where they're moving all their aerial infrastructure here, but they're going to be pulling them back to the Rio Blanco fire because that is a huge fire than what we're fighting. It's a 20-acre, 30-acre fire in the Finley fire on the reservation. But they've been doing some incredible work in the area. I was up there, met with the IC force, who is the IC, a part of the incident command. Jerry has been up there as well. There's no structure damage or there's no presence of anything that warrants evacuation. So they just want everyone to refrain from going on to the Ute Mountain just for safety precautions as well. So Jerry or Philip has blocked off County Road A, closed the gates, access to the Ute Mountain Ute at the gate here on Sundance Road is closed, and they're monitoring and made closures to the Farm and Ranch Road around the Ute Mountain just to keep people out of the area. So that's the extent that I know and been in communication with the incident command as to what is undertaking with that fire. And then we have little sparse fires, single tree fires that are surrounding the reservation, and they're holdover fires, what we call holdover fires from 5-6 days ago, lightning strikes that have occurred around the Ute Mountain Reservation. Those are popping up due to the dryness of the conditions that we're faced with. So you'll see more activity. And the other thing is we also closed off the access to Hayfield Reservoir because of the activity of the helicopters. We don't want anybody to get around that reservoir during the operation. And if it is the wishes of the tribe, the council, to continue to have that access to Hayfield Reservoir closed until the fire season is finished, just for access for these helicopters to get their water to turn off some of the fires. So that's where we're at in updating the fires.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Ms. Superintendent, but
No, the only thing I would add is that they were taking water from north of the casino, that little pond.
Yes.
And I asked them to visit. You did that for the past 2 fires. Can you find an?
Oh.
Other pond.
and they're taking water from Mr. Tomac's pond, and every third refill drains that pond, and the only adequate resources for water is the Hayfield Reservoir. That's the only, and I think that if we can request through Farm and Ranch to resupplement that water through the pipelines that we should be having for that reservoir. Mr. Martinez stated that he doesn't use that field for any irrigatable usage, so it's just there, but we could request for a refill through Montezuma Valley Irrigation Company to refill it if needed. So that's available. But if you requested for them not to utilize that, then I think that's where it's going to get problematic, suppressing some of this fire that needs the water. They were using that during the powwow, the events on the rim of the mesa with several single fire trees that were up on the mesa there. They were doing some bucket drops just to suppress those fires up on top of the mesa as well. So Mancos Creek has no water. It's very depleted. The solar well in Barker Canyon is the only source of water that at times is being overran by the feral horses, as well as some of the cattle that haven't been rounded up and moved to the according areas on the ranches. So the resource department is working diligently in trying to keep that well running. The Decker well, solar well, and the Springer it has water, but again, those are the only resources we have to have or assist the fire suppression team of getting any water anywhere. So that's where we're at with our water and the fire suppression. So, okay.
Righty, thank you.
Are you still?
No, I'm done, sir.
Okay, with the acting superintendent, I probably need to get in conversation with you, but the request to have a survey on the eastern boundary, I wouldn't say the eastern boundary, it would be the northeast boundary cadastral survey along the canal from County Road D to County Road C on the northeast border of the reservation, and was requested to fill out a cadastral survey request. I'm still in the process of working with that request to have that survey completed, and I should have it done by the end of August as well. I need the townships, the plat numbers as to where the survey needs to be conducted. So I will get in touch with your office to get that forward, and the according and appropriate documentation for that request. Any other questions, comments?
Do you let the BLM know? Because the BLM would have to.
Yes, that would be the submission of that cadastral survey. So I want to meet with you on that request to have that survey conducted on that section of boundary line. Again, it's from County Road D to County Road C, I believe. That's where the request of that, request for survey.
Okay, I will actually, if you, well, I have it here. I'll touch base with BLM because I know BLM had done a recent survey of the reservation, and I'll ask, because I actually know the person that did the surveys, I'll ask if he has, how recent it's been, and if you want something more recent, we definitely process that.
Okay,
Try to get you something.
thank you. Any other questions? Councilman Turtle, Treasurer Jacket, Councilwoman Jacket, Vice Chairperson Kansi, Secretary House, Treasurer Jacket.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to really ask you, and you can really follow up on that hello, because that was promised to us. It's yours, there's no funding attached to it, because we really need to think about our animal shelter. As what was put out there was a disease that spread through there, and they have to put down some dogs. Think about that. If you can really see what kind of influence you can have to get a straight answer. We were told that with ours, it's going to be yours, and it's still not. My second comment would be the boundary that the chairman had said on the boundary that he's mentioned right there on County Road C and D, but I'm also asking about our boundary with our neighbors in the south. You know, going down to Farmington these last couple of days, there's so many horses, there's so many feral horses, and as Chairman said in Parker Canyon, they're down there, they're anything. And sooner or later, we're gonna have to make a plan what we're gonna do with all these feral horses. But I have a strong belief, and this is just me, that people are, and they know that we're not there watching that whole area. We have thousands of acres. We got one man that feels sick, one man person for Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. So I'd really like to ask for those boundaries so we can get fixing done on our part. So I put that out there. I know this has been talked about for the past now. I'd like to just ask that you can, maybe your one of your big priorities for this fiscal year would be the boundaries. You get that settled. So Chairman Council, those are my comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Treasurer Jacket. And that caveats over to the other boundary issue. Where are we at the Four Corners project, fencing project that has that gap from the monument over to the Colorado, New Mexico boundary line and the Four Corners, Colorado, Utah boundary line? Where are we at in getting that approved and the crew to start working on that project?
So that has already been surveyed. That information was given to Mr. Stoner when I first got here, but that was probably sent so long ago. I can get with Miracle and have her send him an updated one.
Okay,
Because that was one of the first things Mr. Stoner asked me for when I got here.
okay,
We'll get that information because it's not like it.
okay,
But we'll get in that information for sure.
okay, appreciate it, thank you. Any other concerns for Ms. Superintendent? Councilwoman Jacket?
Good morning. How you doing? Well, I have a question here. As you know, what happened to my home. And my concern is the 911 call. Just the communication there. There was lack of communication from what I'm hearing. If we call the dispatch and the dispatchers were not responding, they weren't answering. So how does that work? If you call 911, does it come directly to the dispatch here?
So I actually don't know the ODS, ODS is overseen by Albert, but I do know that it does come to the dispatch center here. Because when I walked through the building, when they were doing the assessment, we did kind of like a try to clean up a little bit. And it goes to this dispatch, and that dispatch is manned 24/7. But I do know he was down to 2 dispatchers when I first came by. And somebody from Mescalero came up to assist, so they're back. And then the chief of police was actually covering their lunches and breaks to help out because it is actually staff, too short staff on the officer side. So, but yes, I do know they come to the facility here.
Okay.
Councilman Tuttle?
Question on that. They're rerouted down to the BIA office, because that, again, when we heard these instances with the fire department, that's what was and then come down here, because we have the situation of hypothetical trying to the fire department, they're directed to call 911, so that way the dispatch is there. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's our process is right there. Nikki? Are you aware of that?
Based on what Mr. White has told us, I thought that's how it worked, but I honestly don't know if it's been updated or revised since he gave his last report to council.
You might have got a grant that updated that.
You
might have got a grant.
I really think it's gotta be a more defined process, and I know it's gonna take a lot more work for that to probably happen, but it's so confusing when things like that happen, and then people are diverted to Cortez, and then the dispatch thing is, we've all been on that end where we kind of take a period of time there, and again, seconds and minutes, but I think that's something that we should look into. Potentially acquire 911 being directed to BIA or whatever it needs to be down here, because I mean, things have gotten really challenging lately. So just my comment, Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Tuttle. Any other concerns, comments?
I will get that relayed to OJS, and then aren't they supposed to have a meeting at the end of August with OJS? Wasn't that? Somebody was
Law enforcement?
supposed to lead on that, wasn't me? But
Law Enforcement
I
Committee?
did let OJS know.
Did we identify a date?
I don't think a date was identified, it was just end of August.
Yeah, end of August, and I just need dates from,
Because I did let Chief Benelli and that was gonna be a priority.
and we do have budget starting again, so yeah, we need to find a date.
Okay, we, my only suggestion, only suggestion, the week of the 17th to the 21st to have that discussion with OGS, because from the discussion from CFO, he would like to kick the budget series from the 24th to the 28th of August, the last week of
And the rest
of August and the rest of September. So if we could, somewhere between, I'm giving at least 2 weeks time to set this up between the 17th and the 21st. My schedule's open.
Oh, okay.
Chairman, just an update. I met with law enforcement while I was up in, Orem, and they said that they will contact San Juan County Sheriff, because I let them know that we had law enforcement meetings. So they said that they would contact them and request that they be involved as well.
That'd be good.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they've been ignoring us, but okay, we'll be sure to invite them this time.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. If there is no other questions, concerns, discussion with the BIA superintendent, you're excused. Thank you. Tribal council reports. Let's begin. Councilman Turtle, would you like to give an update on the council reports, please?
Let's see, I'm gonna start from the last month meeting and then I'll go into submit a written report and there's been a lot of work that's let's go ahead and start at July 23rd after the council meeting. Secretary House and I did attend Colorado Commission of Indian Affairs. Definitely important that we showcase other lieutenant governors the importance of government relationships. It's really important that we respect on that and emphasize on that. Sometimes try to really help that. Whether it's on the state level or whether it's on the federal level. Those are really important things that are going on. But we did give a vote from Southern Utah and United. I want to thank Secretary Health for her words about the presentation up there and not to carry the tribe. It just makes me feel that, EPIA is back in good hands. I have been a commissioner since 2019 and we've done a lot of things for the state of Colorado, whether it's the math cocktail, whether it's cakewalk, whether it's MMIR, whether it's the boarding school. And really we just stress on all those things and we just really stress them and emphasize them that important consultation. We did have those challenges with consultation as we move forward, as we see work spending, as we see with even the remote reintroduction. So really challenging times that are there and just making sure that the government relationship really holds up and we move forward in a good way. So after the presentation, we did take some pictures with the lieutenant governors and some of them approached us and asked us those questions. And we're really interested, and I think that's how we really set a benchmark and a template for other states that are having these issues with their state government. And it's really important that we develop a template for everybody that's so it was a good meeting. Lieutenant Governor did say that she, even though this is her last couple of months, that she did want to continue this thing. We did have the New Mexico Lieutenant Governor there, Javi Morales. So we did give him kind of an insight what it is, because as we know, we're recognized in New Mexico. The challenge is with 24 tribes as opposed to only 2. So really just emphasizing on that. And then we even spoke to Lieutenant Governors who didn't have any tribes there. So they were really interested in sovereignty and how each tribe really hold that up, because it's importantly as maintaining on sovereignty. That's what House is like. The following week, we did have budget meetings. It's a good way to start off the budget. We're on the grant side. Now we have more of the flexibility and more of what the funding sources look like. So again, those are definitely the times that we really emphasize on different change or amendments and question a lot of the directors, what's going on. I think we're really looking at putting the directors more accountable because they're in charge of the groundwork, not council members. We're in charge of just bringing those relationships to the table. So we're really looking at these directors and ensuring that they're doing their job as we move forward. I know we were talking about grants and the scope of work there. I would really like to see this tribe within the next year or two prepare for maybe even those options there to have our directors start writing these grants. People just joke that. We don't want to just give them a fish. We want to teach them our fish. So really developing what it is to maintain these grants, because right now I feel like our grants are just really hard to go with the scope of work and the outcome of a lot of grants. So really want to emphasize on that right there. We need to see this change. We need to make sure that our membership are set up, especially in the work. We did have those conversations. What are priorities? What departments are there? Social services we talk about. We talked about immediate health. We talked about government treatment. So a lot of these play off one another. So really, how we can be successful with
Division director in White Mesa had so many issues with grants and contracts and finance. They don't understand. They don't, because they've never been there. I did my own mission statement, I did my own scope of work. I did my budget from the ground up, me and Griselda. And to excel, we need people
understand them, and then I think that
We gotta make sure that we, you know, attack
then
people that
them
are
upstairs,
making a difference. in our
I think they get
community,
overwhelmed
those
too,
that
because
are available.
they're pretty young.
And it's all
I
those
mean, I'm young
challenges
too, but
really at the forefront. So really making sure during the budget
I
time
think
that it
she's
really,
been there.
it's emphasized on,
But I
how we
think
accommodate a lot of
they're
these
too
issues.
familiar.
During the budget season, or the budget hearings, I did
No,
check out for.
the directors had
I did read some
to
broadband meetings.
say,
all with-
I don't understand. I need some help, but they
Those are really
don't.
clarifying, but
And then they cut and paste every year, same thing every year.
definitely open to
Changes,
what-
and you know, it should be changing because every year is not the same.
With our
I think too that-
Definitely, I really like to see that collaboration come to fruition, but, you know, most of our broadband project is nearing completion.
And
I
they
think we're
just
looking at the end of this year.
don't think it's wrong. They just kind of keep doing it, everything, even like the department, they keep doing it over and over. Because when you're in that budget process and you're presenting before tribal, it's totally different than sitting up here questioning. When you've been there and you've worked it, questions to
So,
ask.
you know, really,
You know,
making that consideration and making the best decision possible. People with nuclear fighting, as well, Senator Jacket, Secretary House, and Councilwoman Knight. We met with, potential governor candidate for the state of Colorado, and really expressing our viewpoints here in the elaborating on our sovereignty. Some of the shortfalls that we've seen as a government relationship and how consultation is definitely needed more. How we would like to keep the governor down here more and more, not just as a photo op, but somebody who's really going to take the initiative to say, hey, I want to make sure that the Mountain Tribe and the state has a good relationship, so that way we can help them with a lot of these things. We did elaborate on TPA and the importance of that, how we can get help with funding. We did elaborate on adult services because we're seeing the shortfall here. So definitely looking at a lot of these things as we move forward, and how our members really, turn around what's going on in their lives. Like I said, a lot of this is historical traumas that have never been addressed. And we continue with these historical traumas or these adverse childhood experiences, and we don't address them, we're going to end up in the boat that we're in because it happens from generation to generation. What a kid will see mom and dad go through what happened, and without being addressed, it's going to carry on into their generation and then their family. So we really have to look at that avenue, how we're going to help our tribal membership in the best way, because we need this help. You know, this is not again something that just was developed within a year or two. This is something that we're seeing historically. So I feel for my people, we need to get these programs that are out here, especially adult services. You know, sometimes our adults fall through the cracks, and we need to make sure that we help them in the best way possible, because everybody deserves that type of help. It's essential for your longevity of your life. So really looking at that and seeing how we can turn that around. We ask for guidance in that. The next day on Friday, I did meet with Archie and Abby from Chavoy, which was a part of a discussion that was happening yesterday, and I'm sorry I missed that, but, you know, I think the ground workers really got their tool set and really got their marching orders on what we need to do to make these conversations happen. So we're really going to have to look at a loan, but it's not going to be a pricey loan up in the tens and twenties of millions of dollars, because we've got these investors that are going to be helping with this low income housing tax credit. Again, this is something first of its kind that the state of Colorado for tribal entities to receive. So we should be really fortunate of these things. You know, and I thank the council for the support and really going after this. You know, I thank you guys for really looking after the membership and saying, hey, we really need these types of funds, that way, you know, what's happening. So I heard of this presentation, we are looking at the outlet of loans for a loan. But that's something that we really have to develop. For a long period of time, the tribe has really been modest and reserved. And sometimes you have to take these risks. What I always say and what I learned out there is you have to spend money to make money. So really looking at that, what direction are we going? I think we need to sit down and really prioritize and develop a plan on what this type of council is doing. We really looked at the past administration of their priorities, but I think that's what we really have to develop right now. Really workforce is number one on my list. We've got to pay people what they deserve, because you only pay for what you get. If we're going to lowball and do that type of thing right there and pay people not what they're worth, we're not going to get good outcomes. So really looking at that, I just want to emphasize that to the tribal council and really moving forward. And like I said, it was really good to hear everybody's comments, questions, this past budget, and move forward to the next budget. So thank you, staff, CFO, for getting that together. Grant contract, Patrick, thank you for the work that you do. We all know this is a stressful time during budget, and we just try to accommodate everybody the best way possible. So, you know, looking at all these things as we move forward, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. We got a lot of things that are coming up in the forefront. Next week, we're going to be in Santa Fe for Polk, and that's definitely a prime place as to what's going on with our volunteers and the Grand Staircase Escalante. That's where we work with the federal partners on that level. Again, this is a treaty-based coalition with 100,000 acres of more of land. So really making sure that these treaty tribes are at the forefront with a lot of these concerns, and they could definitely pave an avenue for us or help us develop an avenue to address a lot of these issues. So again, a lot of our projects are moving forward. Supportive housing, we are at the beginning of hiring our consultants and doing a PER study. We do got the 729 coming up, so probably that's something we're going to discuss with Bernadette when we have a conversation in executive, is how we're going to identify more sites for the application that's going to be put out for the tribal membership to potentially apply for this home. We've got to make sure we set up our tribal members for success. I think something that really needs to be included is this financial literacy. So that way our tribal members understand budget process, how it really can help you the month, and especially with the struggles that we're going through, the inflation costs that are still out there. Everybody's seeing gas is really expensive. So again, I think financial literacy will really help benefit our tribal membership and what's going on. The next following week, so probably the third week in August, we are going to meet with the Alpha Valley Bank again. We are, again, recognizing the state. We want to make sure that we take advantage of this. The state of New Mexico is really at the forefront in supporting this type of services with the tribe. So making sure that U-Mountain's name is being carried out there in New Mexico, and they see a lot of these issues we're overcoming. Again, we're not here to take away from anybody. We're here to be a partner with everybody. That's the most important thing that, you know, I try to emphasize on is tribal development of relationships from one tribal entity to another tribal entity. Because I think that's really important. I think that gives us more structure behind us when we develop those permanent government relationships with other tribes. So something we're trying to really do as we move forward with Mexico, developing those partnerships. We do probably on the next council meeting got the potential candidates for lobbyists. We're looking through all of the details of the contract, so hopefully we can get that through transmittal. All the council members that have potential questions can definitely ask those questions, but this lobbyist will really help us with the legislators. Help get U-Mountain's name out in the forefront as we move forward. I think one request from the Indian Affairs Department chairman is to get your picture on the wall down there. Every tribal leader has their pictures, governors, chairman, president, so that's what we're asking. But, you know, I think we're moving in stride. You know, I kind of found on the activities that happened this weekend and hearing about them and what's transpired with these homes. I just want to put this out for the tribal membership. Anybody else responsible for a lot of these things, I'm sorry, but going to be held to full extent. That is the government program, and we want to make sure that everybody doesn't do crazy things that ruin their life. You know, at our things that were going on with how see what's happening at the candidate, very disappointing. People will be held accountable. I think this tribal council is making direction now with the fact that we have to say, to change things from what it was. You know, it can't happen like that, the way we've been functioning. You know, things change, things evolve. We move forward, but we adapt to the process. And we don't want to forget who we are as new people, as new to, as we new to. You know, we have to incorporate that in there too as well. So, you know, things are definitely going to change. We want to hold people accountable for what they're not doing. Because again, are you here just to collect the paycheck, or are you here to make a difference for our people? So really looking at that, you know, as we move forward, we've got directors meeting that's coming up on Thursday, and a whole different set of guidelines are really going to be presented there on how we hold people accountable. So I just want to throw that out there. Be careful about the decisions you make. If you are a tribal employee, you will be held to that extent. So again, we're all representatives of the tribe, and we need to make sure we hold that forward and good, positive energy as we move forward, because we can't keep on going down this road. We can't keep on going down the way the tribe functions, because it So thank you, council, for the work that you do. I know we're all busy here. You know, that's the beauty of it. We're all diverse. We represent the tribe. You know, that's why we're all here in the positions, and we need to make sure that we collaborate the best way that we need to together, because at the end of the day, it's not about us, it's about the 2,000 plus candidates that's going to be giving these services and put us in these positions. So again, we've got a bigger vision that we need to fulfill, and I just look forward about, you know, getting the positive traction and developing the working relationship that we have, and just making these programs available for our tribal members. So again, as this is all happening for transitioning into the school season, it's going to be in a couple, I think, 2 weeks or a week. So I just want to make sure that everybody, you know, has the information about the school buses and the information where that's going down. If not, reach out to the education department and we'll point you in the right direction. So again, just wish everybody well out there. And, you know, we just got to learn to adapt to one another, get along with one another, because this division is really showing that people off of this thing. And we've got to be united as a tribe, because, I mean, we support one another, we move forward together. So I say that respectively. Everybody have a great rest of the week and the weekend, and be safe out there. Well, thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Turtle. Councilwoman Jacket, do you have a report that you would like to?
Marilyn.
Secretary House, you have a report?
Hello, membership, employees, everybody watching today. I want to thank you for tuning in to listening in on what's going on and getting some information. I'm going to start my report real quick. In the very early part of July, I know we had some council meeting that was canceled, and then we also had another council meeting a couple of weeks ago, but we had some issues with that one. So real quick, on July 1st, I attended a RE1 transportation meeting to discuss the school bus stops that we're going to be having this year. On July 6th, I attended the Tri-U opening with some of the rest of the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council. We got an opportunity to welcome all the athletes and coaches and families who came in and participated in that. As you all know, Ute Mountain was host for that. Later on that afternoon, myself and Councilwoman Jacket, we had opportunity to have lunch with the Southern Ute Council women from Ignacio, so that was pretty good. We talked about just some upcoming meetings and upcoming things that are happening. Also shared some information. Next year is going to be the Southern Ute Indian Tribe who will be hosting the Tri-Ute Games, so we kind of gave them some information on, you know, just some different events, kind of spice it up. I know year after year we're seeing the same events done, and you know, it's expected, but we want to make sure that it's exciting for not only families but the athletes that come, so we want to incorporate everybody into that. I think we did talk about having a some sort of contest between, you know, our tribal councils, because some of them do come down, and we wanted to, you know, make sure that everybody participates, and us leadership showing that we do have good leadership, and also we can be friendly and have good competition at the same time. So we wanted to bring some incorporating that. And then I attended some of the Tri-Ute games. I also want to thank the rec staff and the fleet for the fans that were brought in, all the volunteers and coaches and teams. You know, it was really good to see all the athletes, you know, participating in their sport. And, you know, we have some very, very very good athletes that are coming from all 3 Ute tribes, just seeing them and their sport. And these are sports that they probably just don't do in the summer. They're doing them all year round. So it's very, very exciting to see them grow in their sport that they are participating in. So it's always good to, watch them keep on excelling in that sport. On Saturday the 11th, I attended the walk that was sponsored by Miss Willa Whiteskunk. As we know, she's a community member, a very active community member. She sponsors gourd dances and walks, not only to bring awareness to what she's trying to promote, but also giving back to the community. So I really appreciate Willa Whiteskunk doing that. I spoke and said a few words. Myself and Councilman Turtle were there. We did the whole walk, and it was good to see everybody come out and remembering their loved ones that they have lost. The most important thing is even though that individual isn't there, carrying on their memory and in a positive way is always good, and that's how we heal as a community or, a family who has lost their loved one, carrying on that loved one's memory in good faith and in positivity. So again, I want to thank Willa for bringing that. We always look forward to her walks and, the different activities that she does there. On July 16th, I attended the Employee Appreciation Day meeting. The committee is forming, and they are almost in wraps of getting all that done, and that's just something to give back to our Ute Mountain Ute tribal employees, and that's something that they get to participate in if they wish to. So we always encourage good participation in that from our employees. I also, same day, I attended the Yay Foundation presentations that were done at the community center. I want to thank Sherelle and her staff and her department for bringing such a fine, good program here to the Ute Mountain Ute Reservation. It was excellent to see our youth and hearing them talk and show their presentations to the community. Most of all of them were very heartfelt, and you could not sit there and listen and not think about a memory you've had that these young individuals are going through. So I really appreciate that. There was tears there, and you know what, it was tears of goodness, because you're watching the youth grow up in front of you, and it's good to hear what they have. So many times we're focused on adult problems and adult issues, but it's good to get the youth's part and their perspective of things. So I want to thank the youth who participated in that. Your presentations were excellent, and I can't wait to see where your future goes, and also the department. And thank Aiden for bringing that program to the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. Also on the same day, we had our service provider fair, and I want to say thank you to Councilwoman Jacket. She really was the forefront of this. The rest of the council members, we supported her, but she has it in her heart for her community, and she's a very strong advocate for the service providers and bringing awareness to all the programs that they have here on the Ute Mountain Ute Reservation. So again, I want to commend Miss Catherine Jacket for bringing that here, and she's voiced, that it's something we need to carry on. We should always be doing this, showing our community what our programs have to offer. And I just want to say the service provider fair went well. We had a good group of people. We had raffles going. We had cakewalk going. So everybody had a meal together, conversated with each other. So it was a good evening, and I want to thank everybody who had a part in that, who made that happen. And as a council member, I want to encourage that we continue to do this, not just from a council part, but also the departments. If you feel the need, you want to do a community night for the community, please do so, because the community wants it. They want to know what you're doing or what kind of service you provide, and we never know, this could be something that we always do in the future, to bring awareness to what we have to offer our community members. On July 20th, I attended the executive staff meeting, got information on the upcoming dates and everything. July 21st, I had another bus meeting with the RE1 Transportation Department and attended a council meeting. We also had council meeting on that day. And then July 22nd to the 24th, as Councilman Turtle stated, we attended a National Lieutenant Governor Association, and I and Councilman Turtle were a speaker on that, and there was a panel. We shared some information about the Ute Mountain Tribe, and it was good to bring awareness to, you know, the other states who may or may not have Native American communities or governments in their state. You know, for so long, Native American communities are always put aside when consultation happens or any important issues arise. You know, the Native American community or government's always overlooked. So we wanted to push that, you know, please consult with your local Native American governments in your state. You know, they are a voice too. They do have concerns, and, you know, being a part of whatever state that they're living in, it's always important to get all voices heard in that state that they represent. So it was good to see you know, new faces there, and just bring more awareness of what CCIA does, how Ute Mountain Ute partners with them as well. So hopefully those states can get pushing on, you know, something as what CCIA does for us. So we're really thankful for that. July 28th and 29th, I attended the budget hearing meeting. Got a lot of good information, went over some of the grants that our departments utilize, got some questions answered. So, you know, that's just a little tipping point of our upcoming budget hearing process that we'll do later on in the month. So, and then on July 28th, I attended the Toyac registration night that was held at the community center. I want to thank the department, education department, for sponsoring that. A lot of parents and families came out to register their students. All the schools were there, and they had staff there to answer any questions that anybody may have had. We also had the RE1 School District Transportation Department there collecting information about their children's bus stop. And then on July 30th, myself, Councilwoman Knight, Councilman Jacket, and Councilman Turtle met with Phil Weiser. He is running for Colorado governor, so we're really happy for that, and, you know, we wish him well. He came, we spoke about our Ute Mountain Ute Tribe's concerns, and we listened to what he in turn has for Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. So we look forward to that working relationship, and good luck to Mr. Weiser on his run for Colorado governor. A couple things: the school bus stops, as I said before, school bus stops will be happening this year. Please get in contact with the RE1 School Bus Transportation Department. They will collect your name and your child's name and grade, and they'll be the ones to tell you exactly where your child can get on the school bus. So we won't have any maps or anything, just because they don't want to release that because of confidentiality. So that's something, you know, we need to work with. But if you have any concerns or questions, please contact them. Again, there will be no bus stop at the rec center this year. So if you're hearing this and you know of a family who may or may not get this information, please let them know that there will be no bus stop at the rec center. I don't want to have any children or families show up and there be absolutely no buses. But get in contact with the RE1 School Bus Department. They'll be able to give you some information on that. And this weekend was the powwow. Had an opportunity with Councilwoman Jacket to do a welcome. I just want to thank all the visitors, the spectators, and the powwow personnel who put that on. It's always a big event that the Ute Mountain Ute Casino has to offer. So we're grateful that everything went well there, and hope everybody had a good time and traveled home safely. And I also want to I want to congratulate Miss Jeannie Adams. She received the Heart of the Community. It's an award from the American Disability Association in Denver, Colorado on July 24th. Jeannie Adams, she's an elder of the Toyout community, and she works with some of the individuals who do have, some issues with disability. She gives a lot of information and assists them, and she has it in her heart to help her people. So I want to congratulate Jeannie Adams again for receiving the Heart of the Community Award in Denver. So congratulations, Jeannie. Your work is well noted and appreciated, and thank you on behalf of the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council for being an active, positive community member. Just a couple more announcements. There'll be a back to school dance at the rec center. I believe it's Wednesday or Thursday. So look forward to that. And vaccines, again, we're coming into that era of cold, flu, COVID. If you're feeling sick or anything, please, I encourage you to go to your local doctor's office. Get yourself checked. We want to make sure that you're as good as you can be for your family and for your friends and everything, just because as we all know, school starts up and it's a busy time for families. I want to thank all the firefighters who are fighting the fires in our local area and just in the whole state of Colorado. As some of you know, Colorado, we've seen this year a couple of the largest wildfires that the United States has seen, and some of those were coming out of Colorado. And not only that, but to the west of us in Utah. So I want to thank all the firefighters out there for fighting those fires and keeping our communities and families safe, and also the condolences to some of those firefighters who fought in fires up by Grand Junction who did lose their life. So your work is appreciated, and condolences to those families. Also want to send condolences to the family of Wyatt Hayes. It's always a sad time losing your loved one, and my condolences from my family to you. And again, school will start this coming Monday, which is August 10th. If you have any questions about what time your child's school starts, school supply list, you can either reach out to the K through 12. They will have some information, or they can point you to the right direction on who will have that information for you. And since school is starting, I want to wish all the families a good school year. You're a big part of your child's family by pushing them and always encouraging education. And the moms out there and the dads who get up every morning and push their kids to school. I know some days are easy and some days are tough, but you're doing a good job, and I wish you all well, a safe, happy school year. And I just want to touch on two incidents too that happened this weekend with the fires that we're seeing. I just want to reiterate what Councilman Turtle had said. Please make the best decision that you can, and think of your children, the ones who hurt in all these violent acts or all these incidents is the children. The children hurt the most, and they see it, they witness it. And if anything at all, think of your children before you make that decision to do anything. Think of how this may affect them, or think of how it may affect their future or their feelings, because it matters. So please, remember that your children are the most important thing in your life, and think about them before you make that decision to do anything. Also on the hand game incident, that's something that maybe, since the tribe does overlook the committees and boards and everything, maybe that's something that the tribe may need to overlook, is a hand game committee. I know we've tried to push them to independently put together their own hand game committee, but along with making sure that something goes right, sometimes it doesn't. I believe that that's the tribe's part to step in and not to govern it, but to assist in it. And as some of you know, we council appoints anybody who does want to sit on a committee or board, and it's not to govern, but it's to assist and to put some structure to it, because again, hand game is part of the Toyac community and a part of the Toyac events, and we want to make sure that everything has success in it. And if we can assist in that success of that hand game committee, that's something that I believe, we can always talk about, but we want to make sure that everybody's safe, and things happen in a safe manner where, we don't get any violent outcomes of any kind. So again, that concludes my report. I want to thank you all for watching. And again, happy school year, and may God bless you and your families, and thank you. Toyac.
Thank you, Secretary. Since Chairman Chairman White stepped out for a minute. Oh, he's back. All right, I will turn it back over to him.
What?
She just finished her report.
Oh, you finished?
She did,
What about yours?
not yet. Catherine and
Catherine?
back to me.
Yes, Councilwoman Jacket.
Mike, new chief, staff, good morning, or already afternoon. But anyway, my report for today is going to be kind of short here. First of all, I would like to congratulate Darvin Whiteman for being selected as our executive director. And it's good that you got on board, because we really need help. And we thought our executive director, we were kind of lost, kind of dependent on one another as council. But now that you're here, we congratulate you and this new journey of yours. Hey, so, and thank the prayers that were made this morning, because we all need prayers in this community. There's a lot that's going on, many things. We're just struggling as a community. But regardless, we all have a choices to make good choices for ourselves, and so that we can try to make it right for our families and for ourselves. So first, I would like to say that I have attended some of these what Maryland House has mentioned in Austin, and it just really, we need a lot of help in this community. Not only from one another, but from the service providers. I'm going to more focus on the service providers, and because it's important that we, our service providers really, I'm sure you're all doing your job, but there's times that you're gonna have to look outside of the box and look at what is really needed in this community, what services is really needed. Sometimes we get stuck in one area, thinking that we're only focusing on what our mission, our project, our vision is for our department. But we need to start looking at beyond that. Look at beyond that and try to improve, try to make a change, because we're here as a council, we all support departments that are willing to make that change, willing to implement different ways of providing services. And So that's what I like to see happen. I know it's been really challenging for me because of what I have experienced with my home. You know, all the chaos that I watched and happen was really, I was really frustrated. No communication. Everybody was just going running all over the place. You know, and we need to really start coming together and start working together so that nothing like this tragedy can happen in our community. With the house fire that's going, it is just, it's not good to see that. It's just frustrating because we don't have, people don't move quick. It's like, you know, when you need to be on top of everything, you know, be one step ahead. I guess you could say that, be one step ahead as a service providers, because if you're not, then somebody's gonna tap you on your shoulders and say, hey, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? You know, don't wait for that. Do something, you know, do something different for your department. I know that we met over, we had that budget meeting. We discussed social service in Tawahi and counseling and treatment. And counseling and treatment is what is really, really needed here, right? And especially, I like to see our traditional therapy implemented into that treatment because we need it. And I'm hoping that that's going to come about, that they're going to build a sweat lodge. So I just like to say that this morning, I really have your parents really look out for your children. School is coming upon us again. Really encourage your children and support them, help them to, you know, continue their education, be there for them, because these youth in this community are future leaders, and we need to help them the best way we can as parents. And a lot of times I know some parents work, but regardless, you know, don't leave your child behind because they're important. Also, I guess that's all I have for right now. So Toya, you know, I'll take care of yourself. May the Creator bless everyone. Summer's almost coming to the end, going into fall pretty soon. So, you know, everybody take care of yourself. We need to, you know, we know we don't take time and we forget. So just be aware of your surroundings.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Jacket. Conrad Jacket, Treasurer, do you have a report, sir?
Yes, Chairman, Council, thank you. So, good morning right now. Good morning, everybody. Fellow members of the employees, everybody listening. I'd like to say, we gotta be nice to each other. You know, I'm not gonna talk about it. We don't know what ever has. That is it, not let's be a council, not big things come up. You know, as what was talked about, we are working on things, especially Councilman Turtle, he did hard on the housing. And we have, as we did today, we went in, put that 729 maintenance account into place. So take advantage of that, especially if your furnace is going out. I know this winter we had those couple that went out and still for $1,000. So take advantage of it, get it done right now so we don't have to worry about it. Because if it becomes winter time, you're gonna be stuck on a waiting list. So definitely take advantage of the 729 meeting. So I'd say, thank you to the rest of the council. We had, as everyone said, we had a budget meeting, on Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a lot of information to take in. And it's just seeing where we're at financially. But the first we're starting out for grant department. Then we'll move to our title department. So, and what was discussed here, there's shortfalls. There's shortfalls, and right now, we can't throw money at them. Really, we can't. With these projects coming out, especially the Sweetwater project, it's a lot to take in. But the whole point of the Sweetwater one, the Sweetwater pumpback station is for us to be a part owner in it. 10%, 50%, somewhere we gotta be an owner. Because we have the water for the project, we have the land lease for the project, we also have the FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, like that we can apply for ourselves, that will help this project along. I know a lot of people have been asking about something, we're it's still a land lease deal, so a lot of questions, a lot of things we learned from Foxtown, no, that doesn't sound right. No, we learned from Foxtown and said, okay, well, we want this. Well, this. So,
Did we lose him?
Are you still on? Did we lose him?
We did.
We lost them.
Could Erica and Peter log off until we're completed with the council reports, please?
The network
Yesterday when I was on the link.
If that's the case, let's go to Vice Chair. Vice Chair, you have a report, please?
Yeah, I do. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining us today for our meeting. I just have my report. Beginning of this month, I was kind of out because I was dealing with a family issue. But other than that, that turned out very well. So I attended my monthly curators meeting at the University of Utah Museum on the exhibit that's going to be opening in December, which is the baskets and cradle boards. This end of this month will be our last meeting, and the opening date for that, like I said, was December the 4th. So everyone is invited up there on the opening date. You're more than welcome. And it'll be free to enter, like I always try to promote the museum, because it has a really nice Native Voices exhibit there. So just giving you a heads up on that. The exhibit for the museum at the Utah State Capitol is open. It opened end of June, so that's a free entrance as well. If you're ever in the Salt Lake area, you can stop in there. Last week, I attended the Utah Native American Summit in Orem, Utah, which was really great because we had a chance to meet with all the Utah State departments that is directly under, that provide services to the indigenous communities in the state of Utah, which there are 8 federally recognized tribes. It was good. We made a lot of contacts. We talked about grant opportunities for White Mesa. We talked about the water line. We discussed the White Mesa Mill. And as far as I can gather, I hate to admit this, but the White Mesa Mill is probably not going anywhere soon. It is backed by the federal government, and they had a groundbreaking on their extension of their facility to include the precious minerals processing plant. So that was done last week. There was no consultation, as far as I know, with any tribes, especially with Ute Mountain Tribe. I was not aware of that until I saw it on Facebook. So, you know, there's a lot of questions there. My main concern regarding the mill and their expansion was was when they are bulldozing it. Who is going to be overseeing the cultural artifacts that more than likely are there? Who will be documenting those? Who will be categorizing those? And where will they be stored? I requested for a tribal member or a cultural leader to be there and kind of monitor their excavation work. So they said that they would gladly do that and allow someone to come and watch the excavation and make sure that all artifacts and ancestral remains are recorded and documented and preserved in a dignified manner. So I talked with them as well. Another thing that I spoke with them about was the water. If White Mesa Mill is not going anywhere, why don't they contribute to our community in White Mesa? We need scholarships, we need health care, we need a whole array of things. We need we need water. Our groundwater is probably going to be contaminated in the years down the road. And I know a lot of White Mesa residents do not drink the water. They have to buy bottled water. So, you know, that's something that we talked about. So I wanted to see if Energy Fuels or White Mesa Mill would be willing to contribute to the water line from Blanding to White Mesa. So that's going to be something that they're going to be approached with, and hopefully they'll be in agreement so we could at least benefit from them being there. Our community needs a lot of help. And I don't know if everyone's aware of this, but Utah has been down in the final running for a nuclear facility, which they are projecting to be in Tooele County in northern Utah. That'll still affect us. They're wanting to do a nuclear energy plant and a nuclear waste facility. So nuclear waste will be there forever. And, you know, it's something that the state of Utah really needs to look into. They mentioned economic development. Yes, it will bring economic development, but not to our area. It'll bring it to northern Utah. So there are many dangers and, you know, just unseen circumstances that could happen. And I mentioned Chernobyl and a couple of other places, and they said that due to the new technology that's coming about, that it is less likely to have an accident or to release any kind of nuclear active material. Based on that, we're going to have a nuclear energy informational meeting in White Mesa at the community center on August the 15th, which is a Saturday. So if you have any questions, I'd ask everyone to come out and join and learn. That'll be presented by some departments in state of Utah, which formed a nuclear informational task force where they are going around throughout the state of Utah and presenting these informational gatherings so people can ask questions and get answers if they need to. So that was something that was really on the back of my mind. We also met with law enforcement, Utah State law enforcement, and we met with Department of Correctional Department of Corrections, just to get updates and on what they are offering incarcerated individuals throughout the state from different tribes as well as our own, and just to make sure that the Religious Freedom Act was being followed in some of the things that they are given. It's like a medicine pouch, cedar, sweetgrass, and all of that. They're in limited quantities, but they have to purchase them. The talking circles and the sweat lodges. So there was a lot of things there, some questions that we got answered, which I think was very good on behalf of ours. And they had a few questions in regards to CIBs with tribal members. Not only ours, but other ones. And I told them that there was a form that they could fill out if we can somehow get that sent up to Department of Corrections so they can pass it around to their incarcerated people so they can fill it out. And if they are enrolled, get a CIB, which will open up more opportunities for them as far as health care and things like that while they're incarcerated that in the state of Utah system. Let me see. We identified some grants for telehealth, which we have been working on already. The deadline for that is on the 27th, so we're working on that diligently with Ozzy Escarte from Utah Department of Health and Human Services. We also identified a juvenile justice grant, which is basically a grant geared towards prevention, like getting youth involved in activities. They said that they can definitely grant that award to a nonprofit or a tribal entity. So I suggested that since we working on some juvenile deterrent things in White Mesa, that we're going to apply for that grant. So we're going to get paperwork and everything done on that. Also met with Governor Cox. He did a brief statement there. And we signed the consultation process between the 8 Utah tribes and the state of Utah with Lieutenant Governor Henderson. So there was also a banquet, and Doogie Hall was there, the actor and motivational speaker. So that was really good. So he had a good speech, and he gave everyone good spirits to finish up the conference. So looking forward to next year. Thank you. That concludes my report. Have a great day.
The way. Are we back on? Can you hear us, Treasure Jacket? I'm on. I can see my hand.
Yeah, but the volume's not.
The volume on?
Yeah, that's what it was doing to me yesterday when I was on Zoom.
Uh-huh.
I could see you guys, but I couldn't hear nothing. That's what
Also, can you hear us?
I kept logging
I
on.
can hear you. Thank you.
Also,
It's just
Is
Conrad.
Treasure Jacket on?
Yeah. People call me, it kicks me off.
Did you conclude your report, or do you still have do you still have a report to give?
Yeah. I was really preaching, so. I lost my train of thought. But just some key points, council, membership, there are no council assistants from now until after the election. So I like to put that out there. I'm getting a lot of calls, a lot of texts. It says the council assistants, I turn the paper and there's nothing due to the election going on right now. But I think to put that out there and just let membership just be safe and just remember to call 911. As what was said, you have a better chance of getting a response if you call 911. If you have these incidents happen here with fire with law enforcement, so I'd like to put that out there. And I will let Jerry know that he's guiding to enter their functions and to be ready. So, Chairman, Council, like I said, give my update and everything, but that was it. That was going to be it. So, Chairman, Council, Mayor Chip, that's my report right now. Well, what do you just heard?
Okay, thank you, Treasurer Jacket. Thank you, council members, for your reports that you've given to the council, the chambers, as well as to our tribal members that are linked into the YouTube channel as well. We appreciate what you do and what amount of time that is it takes to provide and advocate for the Ute Mountain Ute tribe as a whole. How we interact and how the importance of our committee responsibilities is at the forefront and a lot of emphasis. And when you look at what each and every one of us are doing, the two focal points of what is happening currently is our economic development projects that are going on, meaning the Sun Bears, Foxtail, the helium development in our fossil fuels. We also are looking at our enterprises as well with the WDC board. There's going to be some considerable changes that are for the better. And those are responsibilities that the tribal council undertakes as well in their official capacity. That goes, that's not to say that our departments are as well providing the services that is needed for the community and its membership as well. So everyone is working together to ensure there's positive outcomes in the efforts that are there. I don't have much that hasn't already been said. I wasn't at the council meeting on the 21st due to travel responsibilities that I had and meetings that were undertaken. I'll begin on the 17th. I believe that we had a meeting with Energy Fuels and their proposals as well. It was a non-formal meeting as to the transport of material into the site, Fuels Energies. And they gave us updates and the route that they were taking. They didn't give us time to the routes that they were taking, but that discussion was ongoing. As Vice Chairman has said, that there's got to be an alternate compromise position we need to take. And we know, and we indicated, it is really sponsored by the legislative body of the state of Utah to support Energy Fuels at the current support they're getting, as well as the federal government, Department of Energy, the EPA, all these regulatory commission, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission are supportive of Energy Fuels. It's going to be a long time coming in trying to litigate or even trying to get them to compromise with our initiatives. So I would encourage that in the next few meetings that we have, that the Ute Mountain Ute tribe come with a compromised position as to the wants and needs of the community of White Mesa, as well as what the city of Blanding is utilizing Energy Fuels for their infrastructure building that they're doing within the city of Blanding. And we as well can get that kind of services if we look at a compromising position. That's not to say that we're still in disagreement. We're still in disagreement as to the activity that is ongoing with the mill. And they've had several meetings of a new uranium mining north of Monticello, Utah, south of Moab, that is being contemplated, as well as a mining of uranium in that particular area. So a lot of this mineral development is occurring around us, and as Vice Chairman said, the conversation with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission in establishing a nuclear facility utilizing the Great Salt Lake as a source of water for that nuclear facility, for that community, it is very promising, and with the support that they have, it's in that proving ground of Tooele. The Army Proving Ground is where that site is being considered. So again, it's on federal property. The military has a proving ground in that sector of land, but the Goshutes, Skull Valley Goshutes tribes are pretty much opposed to it. The Goshutes in is it the Goshutes that are Goshutes that are in Ely or Elko? Ivapaw had proposed a nuclear incinerator several years ago, and went before the Nuclear Regulatory as well as the State Nuclear Commission, and were denied that permit to have a nuclear incinerator project on their property. If you've been out there, there is very little to anyone out there. I think we have at least 4 or 5 homes out in that area of the Goshute Reservation. They're more located in the Tooele area, along the Salt Lake area. They have their offices in the metropolitan area of Salt Lake. But the fact of the matter is, their issue is the same. If you couldn't issue them that license to have that incinerator in their reservation, then how can you justify having a nuclear power plant in Tooele County, south of the city of Tooele? So there's ongoing discussions that are occurring in that line of area. So the 22nd, 23rd of July was travel to Salt Lake to establish the agenda for what Miss Kansi was a part of with the Utah Tribal Leader Summit at the Utah Valley University, which took place the 29th, 30th, 31st. The 28th was the Upper Basin Upper Basin Tribal Meeting regarding the Bureau Reclamation draft EIS plan that was supposed to take place, or which is now released for comments or to review. That document, from what we gathered from the emails that were sent out, and maybe Mr. Ortego can elaborate on that at some point in time. But again, these are the things that the Tribal Council have been involved in. They're continuing to be involved, but we're just going to have to take another position as to where we're at in these negotiations. You've seen that we're trying to get litigation funds for both state of Utah and New Mexico. It was passed by the council, but that's where we're at in those areas of concerns for the tribe. The future of the tribe at this time, the outlook is we're still work in progress, ensuring that what is before us is going to accommodate the priorities that have been set. And as Councilman Turtle has stated, what are the new priorities that the tribe has had? In the coming weeks, beginning tomorrow, we have the joint funding pathway conversation that's going to happen at 9 a.m. We have the Ute Mountain Ute City of Cortez water payment negotiating the water costs that is from the City of Cortez for the water that is being sent to us. Want to really emphasize that the water that is we're utilizing in our homes are a payment that we have to make for that water to be delivered for the use of our people. So we're going to negotiate and discuss that tomorrow. I will also be on the TIBIC meeting, the Tribal Budget Committee meeting. Just recently, within the last day, I got notification that I was selected as one of their primary delegates for the Southwest region. Myself and I believe Mr. Tapoya out of the Taos Pueblo tribe. He's going to be the alternate, and I will be the primary individual on the TIBIC committee that looks at the budget, the interior budget of the BIA, the Interior Department. So that's going to take place for the next 2 days, the 5th and the 6th. The 6th is going to be the WDC Board of Directors meeting. On the 10th, RE1 School District, first day of school is going to happen. Let's go back a day. On the 9th, the Ute Mountain Ute Brunot hunting season is going to begin on the 9th of August. Yesterday, the Brunot Hunting Commission with the royalty did the drawing for the special hunts. I believe it's somewhere out there. If it hasn't, it's going to be out there as to who were selected for the special hunts for the Brunot area. On the 11th, we're going to be in Albuquerque. The 11th, 12th, we will be in Albuquerque. Letitia, with the water resource director, we've got the New Mexico water meeting in Albuquerque on the 11th. On the 12th, we have the 10 tribe partnership water meeting in Albuquerque. So the 11th and 12th, I will be in Albuquerque. Again, as Councilman Turtle has indicated, that the COLT meeting is going to be held in Santa Fe on the 13th, 14th, 15th, and I believe on to the 16th as well. On the 14th, I may zoom in onto Utah Indian Health Advisory Board. That's from 8:30 to 12:30 on the 14th as well. On the 18th will be the Ute Mountain Ute Tribal Council meeting. On the 27th, during our budget session, Senator Hickenlooper will be visiting the tribe at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Is that how we set that up, Ms. Lopez? That he will be here, Senator Hickenlooper. But that's the extent of our reports that we have to the tribal membership. Again, there's concerns that are happening, house fires, not only one, but there's 3 more others that are pending investigation that we cannot elaborate or even interfere in those investigations that are ongoing at this time. Individuals need to be aware and be respectful towards one another, and we've got to live in this community together, and we need to show that respect to one another, regardless of the situation that is before us. If it's a legal matter, it's going to be taken care of by the legal department. If anything arises from the tribal council and into these current open cases, legal actions could be taken against us for many different reasons. So I encourage that the tribal council refrain from getting involved with these open cases that are out there. And I met with the chief of police, the public safety director, telephonically. I met with the FBI as well. And there are ongoing concerns and issues pertaining to these incidents that are occurring that we cannot elaborate on with anyone at this time until such time that the open cases and the investigation is closed after the court hearings that are being conducted as well. So we will keep you informed on the fires and anything other than open cases that are criminal. So I appreciate the tribal council members that are reporting to the tribal council, to the tribal membership. We just got to keep that line of communication ongoing. So tribal members, that will conclude our reports and the portion of the tribal council. What I will do at this time, I will go into recess for this council meeting and around.
I just have one update. Councilman Turtle's right. I did ask JS and they said, yes, it does go to that. And those 911 calls go to Cortez. But I also let them know that will be on their agenda. The 14th? Whenever you guys have your law enforcement meeting, I let them know that will be an agenda.
When's your 14th? That's your meeting? The 14th? Okay. I'm going to call for a recess and we will reconvene at 1:30 in executive session. So I will recess for lunch. And I thank the tribal members for tuning in, listening. We are going to go into executive session after lunch. So thank you and have a safe week and weekend. Remember, school is going to occur on the 10th, the first day of school. Get your kids prepared, new bus route, and let's see a successful school year. Thank you. Lunchtime.